Eritrean pro-justice organizations launch a unified task force to defend diaspora communities from regime's transnational repression. ANFET editorial, May 1st, 2026. For more than 30 years, Eritreans have carried a burden no independent people should bear, the burden of surviving their own government. A nation that once stood as a symbol of sacrifice, unity, and heroic resistance now finds its children scattered across continents, forced to defend themselves from the very state that claims to represent them. Today, however, a new chapter is being written, not in Asmara, but in the diaspora. A chapter defined not by fear, but by collective courage, not by fragmentation, but by historic unity. This week, Eritrean pro-justice organizations announced the formation of a unified task force to confront transnational repression, a coordinated operational body designed to protect Eritrean communities abroad from intimidation, infiltration, and legal harassment orchestrated by the regime's global networks. This is more than an organizational milestone. It is a national moment. A regime that turned its power against its own people. While Eritreans everywhere stand firm in defending their nation's sovereignty and territorial integrity, the regime has chosen a different battlefield. Instead of strengthening the people, it has targeted them. Instead of building institutions, it has built surveillance networks. Instead of uniting communities, it has divided them, emotionally, financially, and socially. Across the diaspora, the regime's fourth front has operated through embassy-directed intimidation, illegal taxation and extortion, infiltration of religious and social platforms, online disinformation and character assassination, pressure on families inside Eritrea, cyber harassment and coordinated smear campaigns, manipulation of legal systems to silence activists. These are not isolated abuses. They are part of a systematic, internationally recognized pattern of transnational repression, a strategy designed to silence Eritreans wherever they live. But the diaspora is no longer unprotected. A shield forged through unity. The newly formed task force brings together 5 major pro-justice organizations: the Eritrean Political Forces, EPF, the Eritrean National Council for Democratic Change, ENCDC, the Eritrean Coalition for Democratic Change, ECDC, the Organization of Eritrean Unity, OEU, and the Global Yakal Movement, and members of the Brigade Nahamedu, in a unified structure that has been missing for decades. For the first time, Eritrean civic and political actors have built a collective defense architecture capable of protecting activists and communities, supporting legal defense against regime-linked lawsuits, exposing infiltration networks, coordinating international advocacy, strengthening diaspora solidarity, defending civic space and democratic rights. This is not symbolic alliance. It is an operational mechanism with clear mandates, committees, and a shared mission to dismantle the machinery of fear that has suffocated Eritrean communities for too long. The federal charges against 13 Eritreans, a wake-up call. The regime's attempt to drag 13 Eritrean pro-justice members into a federal courtroom was meant to intimidate the diaspora. Instead, it has awakened it. This legal attack exposed the depth of the regime's reach and the urgency of building a coordinated response. It reminded Eritreans that silence is not safety, neutrality is not protection, and standing in the middle is no longer an option. The task force is the diaspora's answer, a united front that refuses to allow Eritrean voices to be criminalized or communities to be terrorized. To the middle ground Eritrean, the time for watching is over. For years, many Eritreans abroad have tried to remain neutral, not aligned with the regime, but not fully engaged in the struggle for justice either. That space has collapsed. When a government targets its own citizens abroad, when it pressures families back home, when it infiltrates churches, youth groups, and community centers, when it divides neighborhoods and drains people financially, silence becomes surrender. This editorial is a call to those Eritreans who have hesitated. Your community needs you. Your dignity needs you. Your history needs you. The struggle for justice is no longer the work of a few activists. It is the responsibility of every Eritrean who believes in freedom, unity, and the future of our nation. A message to the regime: the diaspora is no longer defenseless. For decades, the regime relied on fragmentation. It relied on fear. It relied on the belief that Eritreans abroad would never unite. That era is over. The formation of this task force signals a new reality. Eritreans are building institutions stronger than intimidation. They are organizing across continents. They are defending each other. They are reclaiming their voice. The regime's long arm has finally met a longer resistance, a resistance rooted in unity, dignity, and the unbreakable spirit of a people who refuse to be silenced. A new dawn for diaspora democracy. This task force is not the end of the struggle. It is the beginning of a new phase, one defined by coordination, protection, and collective strength. A phase where Eritreans no longer face repression alone. A phase where justice is pursued with strategy, solidarity, and courage. The Eritrean people have endured unimaginable suffering, but they have never surrendered their hope. And now, with this unified front, they are reclaiming their agency. The diaspora is rising, the people are uniting, and the future, for the first time in a long time, feels within reach. Thank you for following. ANFET Editorial, May 1st, 2026.